Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited today. Oven on. We're gonna go 425, let's call it. And over here is these are all my goodies. Okay, this is in preparation for Canadian Thanksgiving. This is one of my Thanksgiving specialties. A little bit of a sweet potato gratin with a little pecan topping. Oh my gosh, pecans have a lot of polyunsaturated fat, but it's okay. It's you know, holidays. It's not that big a deal. This is some stoneware, and this is another reason why I'm very, very excited today. This was sent to me by Maria Atwood from The Traditional Cook, and Maria sells these, and she gave me a freebie to use and test out. It's very, very heavy gauge. And it's not earthenware like a terracotta. It is it's stoneware. It doesn't leach anything. It's not easily breakable like earthenware stuff is. But this is really old school traditional cookery in this nice stoneware pan. And we're gonna show you how this beautiful stoneware pan works for cooking up a gratin. But anyways, I'm super pumped about this. This is really cool. I'm going to start by peeling those yams, and then I'm going to start to slice them. I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, moving forward, they're peeled. These are garnet yams. These are some kind of sweet potatoes, yams, whatever. We're talking about this orangey, sweet-tasting root vegetable. It really doesn't matter what you call it. It's all the same thing. Okay, so you make a little base in this bowl that's like, I don't know what you would call it, the sauce for the gratin, but it's basically a cream-based mixture. I have some chopped garlic here, which may sound strange for sweet potatoes, but I really don't like that candied, marshmallowy, disgusting, yeah, it doesn't mix with Thanksgiving food. Sweetness is great, but you know, sweet potatoes are already borderline disgustingly sweet. So we're gonna give it more of a savory flavor. Now, I love putting fresh chopped tarragon in here, but I just ran to the grocery store to pick up some of this stuff, and they were out of tarragon, and I am super bummed about that. But it'll still be really good without the tarragon. Don't worry about it. But I think a big bundle of fresh chopped tarragon in here is really nice as well. I'm pouring in some cream here, and probably going to use this whole pint. And then if you just use cream, it tends to be a little bit too thick and can break and become oily. So I cut it with a little half and half, and that keeps it more liquidy, which is nice. I actually made this gratin almost every night at a restaurant I worked in at Boulder. Boulder, Colorado was a 4-star restaurant. I made some cayenne pepper. That'll give it, that'll make it pretty spicy. And interestingly, you add a ton of salt. And I'm going to whisk this together and taste it. And you want it to be pretty salty. Now, my favorite way to make a gratin is to do sweet potatoes, do a layer of sweet potatoes / yams on the top and bottom, or excuse me, in the middle, and then do potatoes, just regular Yukon Golds, on the top and bottom with that sweet potato layer in the middle. And that requires even more salt, I think, to taste good. This stuff, yeah, I mean, it has just a slight briny, garlicky taste. You can definitely pick up that spice from the cayenne. Once you mix all those sweet potatoes in there, different story. But anyways, I'm going to slice these up, and I'm going to use a mandolin, this is one of my favorite kitchen tools because it's like the most Japanese thing ever. Oh yes, #1. And then, but you can use a knife. And what you're going for is you really want to just cut the thinnest slices possible. Okay, how's that? Now this is about as thin as you'd be able to get them with the knife, cutting it by hand. I actually prefer to do it a little thinner, so if you do have a slicer like that, even thinner than that, it makes more layers, it comes out looking better with a better texture. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so you can see I went through and I tossed them around in that cream mixture pretty well. I didn't use all my sweet potatoes either. I got 2 extra. I got a little carried away, as I sometimes do. But you want to get a little coating on each one of those, so actually toss it around and make sure everything gets mixed really evenly. And then I got something odd going on over here with my right hand. Oh, I'm coating this pan with butter. And this is an important step, don't forget to do this. I'm not sure how this stoneware is going to work without the butter, if it would get stuck on there or not, but I have a feeling that it would perform just fine without the butter. But a little grease never hurt anybody. And yeah, just coat the whole thing. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to where I'm pointing the camera as usual. The worst cameraman ever. Okay, so next up we're gonna take this right here. Oh yeah, and we're gonna dump it all in our beautiful stoneware. And I was gonna say too earlier, the 5-star restaurant I worked at where we made this, we had all this roasted garlic, and we would puree it and make this paste out of it that we'd mix in with that cream mixture. That's way better than just using fresh chopped up garlic like you saw me do in the beginning of the video, but that's obviously takes a monumental effort in comparison. It's not that big of a deal, all things considered. So you're going to take all these, spread them out evenly throughout the pan, like so. Okay, something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're gonna mash it down and see if you can get it to where it's like half submerged by the cream mixture. You can see the cream squishing up out of there. You want to pack it down pretty firm. And you know, I probably could have used a little bit more of the sweet potatoes to get this totally leveled off to the top. You can see there's space for a little extra, and but I'm not going to go through all that because I'm lazy. But yeah, that's that. We're going to cover that with aluminum, poke a couple holes in it, slap it in the oven. Okay, pulling the gratin out of the oven. Now I got to check and make sure that it's done. You can see beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now you just want to check and see it's done just by sticking the spoon in there. You can see it sinks right in there and actually cuts straight through. So that's good. What I'll do before we add the topping, and it can be slightly underdone in this process because you're going to put your pecans on top and cook it a little bit longer, but you do want it to be pretty close. Now I'm going to take the spoon. You can see I'm packing it down because you want those layers to be firmly packed together. That looks pretty good. And then I chopped up these pecans just like that. I didn't do anything else to them. Of course, you can play with them, do whatever you want. I just do a light little layer like that. I go back with the spoon and kind of even it out. You can do more pecans if you want and make it a more thick, solid layer. But I think this is fine. Something like that is very nice. And I want to put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so. Let those nuts get baked on top of there, and we'll have ourselves a finished product ready to serve. Okay, that's the last shot. You can still see it's bubbling. It came out so well in this pan. This pan is really awesome, and you can just tell just by the heavy gauge of it that it's great. These nuts just crispy enough to add a little crunchy texture to the gratin, which is great. I actually let it sit for half an hour or so, let it settle, and then you can actually take a knife and cut it this way and that and serve it in little squares, and it's just fabulous with any kind of holiday meal. So do it with sweet potatoes, do it with potatoes, do it with a mixture.